Hello and welcome to how I play my level 110 warrior. So today we're going to talk about our disciplines. So we're going to talk about the buttons I push. We'll talk about gear a little bit and go through anything else that I feel like that's important. So this is Hobbs, my 110 warrior. We're currently with like I would say like fully buffed. There might be something missing from level 120 to 125 characters. He is at 280,000 hit points with 6,500 AC, and then if we pop on our shield, he goes up to 7,200 AC with get a little closer here, 304 hit points there. So the dual wield. 297 without. Got to be close to the cleric to get the extra hit points. All right, so the warrior is a simple class, but at the same time, it has so much nuance and so much decision making that it is actually pretty fun. Now, the bread and butter of this class is to take the damage, but at the same time, they do an extensive high amount of damage. So it depends on how you want to play them, right? You can shield and you turtle up, right? You're going to do less damage, but you're going to take way less damage. You can dual wield, which increases your damage and gives you no real negatives to tanking, but you do have significantly less AC. So you get a choice there. You can also go two-hander and lose even more defensive ability, but I do not recommend that at all. Dual wield is probably the best unless you're taking something really hard, right? So you're going to switch between those as needed. Now, at the same time, I'm currently using the Honed Worm Slayer. This is a 105 Empire's Kunark weapon. Now, my offhand is the Burning Lands raid warrior weapon. So the only reason I'm using this main hand instead of another warrior taunting weapon is because of this 1750 100% melee damage reduction, right? So if I get hit for 1750, I'm taking 0 damage, right? And this kind of goes together with my Jan's Veil that I've been wearing since level 1. That lowers, where is it here? I think it's a 500. So 1750, 500. I'm taking a little less damage per swing, right? And so that is really nice. And so that's the only reason I'm keeping on the Worm Slayer right now. I've been using this since 105. I've been I had to pretty much switch to it. I grinded, I pretty much cut out all the videos and the Hobbs and Friends from 100 to 110, but I grinded pretty much in one zone the entire time, and this really made it easier because I'm taking less damage. Now, I just logged in, so I don't have any text I can show, but we're going to do a video where we go out and do some combat here, but definitely the Worm Slayer is probably the go-to weapon until close to 115, I would say. And if you can get the raid version, you might be able to go even further with it. This is just the group version, right? So you might be able to go a little further, but I think about 115, you're going to be sporting two Anger Swords again, because this is going to kind of not be doing the DPS you want, and plus you can see here there's 100 AC difference between these two. So without the the cutting the top off of the damage, this would not be something I would do. But the first thing up is our defensive ability. Our current level, timer 2 defensive, is culminating stand. I have rank 2, just slightly better than rank 1, but you adopt a defensive combat stance. Reduces incoming base melee damage by 45%. So once I pop this, I can tank quite a bit of mobs at once. My record at 109 was 6 mobs at once in Venetian's Peak, and living to tell about it. It's pretty crazy. It also will trigger this a rune, which will absorb 2300 if it damage. So it's slightly better, right? Like defensive starts, 45 you know, the very first defensive back in 50 starts at like a 45 or 35% reduction. Then the next version like snares you for some reason, and then the next one gets rid of that, and then it just gets better and better, right? It's still 3-minute duration, 10-minute reuse, but it's a lovely discipline. So I use that. That is my go-to number one. I need to be able to live, right? Flash of Anger is my second go-to, and I probably click this a little bit more because it has a 4-minute reuse, a 6-second duration. But whenever you pop Flash of Anger, you will parry every single incoming attack, effectively negating all melee damage for 6 seconds, and definitely one of the best abilities for not dying, in all honesty. You pop that, it gives you time for your healer to, you know, get the heal going, the merc to actually, you know, do her job, and it just works. 6 seconds is usually enough. You know, the mobs are hitting, I think they're hitting anywhere between 15 to 25,000 on average right now, so that's, you know, kind of where we're at. And there, you know, we're gonna take a few hits, but you know, it's gonna go. So you should pop, you know, the culminating stand along with flash. You know, the damage is going to get reduced by 45%, but it's also, you know, you're not going to take any damage for those first 6 seconds. So you know, there's a little overlap. You don't need to hit them at the exact same time, but you could hit flash, and then while you're waiting for, you know, that next, you know, the next few seconds there, you can then hit stand. Another one I like is Brace for Impact. Now, this is not a discipline, it's an AA, so it doesn't go into the combat abilities window, so you can use it along with Culminating Stand and I believe Flash Finger all at the same time. But what this one does is it reduces your, let's see here, you get 70 charges of 17% incoming melee damage absorption, up to 160,000 for 12 hits. Okay, there's a lot of variables in this, right? All right, so you get 70 charges for when you get hit to proc this 12 hit reduction, right? Regardless of whatever it actually does, it helps lower the melee significantly. It's very nice. So you're gonna want that when you feel like you need it. Another ability here is the defense line. So this is Resolute Defense. This is the current level 1, right? This will just increase our armor class by 5345 for a minute. This lasts for quite a while, right? Like, if you watch the videos, you'll see, wow, I'm like, the defense is still going. And I don't feel like it's as good as Culminating Stand, but I feel like it's like the secondary defensive, where it's really nice, and it's long lasting, you know, at a whole minute. It's the same as some of these other ones, right? Like Storm Strike Defense also lasts for that long too, but I don't know. It feels like it lasts longer than a minute and 12 seconds. I don't know why. But, you know, you pop that, we're going to be over Zads. We're going to be over 11,000 AC. And that is a significant number. So it should help, you know, get us, you know, reduced damage enough that we're not going to die quite as much. Another thing I click is Resplendent Glory. So this is an AA, and all it does is increase the effectiveness of incoming heals by 4 to 15%. Now, I'm running a Cleric Mercenary and a Cleric, and I have had to hit this a lot to, you know, be able to just get those bigger heals, right? You know, this is an extra, you know, up to 15% per heal on top of all the other modifiers that those classes can do. And I feel like it really helps a lot when I'm, you know, feel like I'm taking a lot of damage, and, you know, boxing the Cleric and boxing, you know, having the Mercenary, I kind of know when the heals are going to hit, and I know, you know, when to click this, right? It's a 15-minute reuse, 1-minute duration, right? So it's definitely something that I save for rainy days, but don't really have to. So it's something interesting there. Let's see, we got Lionhearted Crawl. This ability here, I have not actually gotten it to work yet. It's supposed to like terrify or fear enemies, but I haven't had much into it. Now I just got this because I found I found this one. Wade into battle. This is a timer 12, which if we look at all the timer 12s, right? There isn't a whole lot, right? It's the punch through line, and then there's wade into battle, which I found this in one of my characters when I was looking for snowbound armor for this guy, and I thought this was kind of interesting because it causes enemy melee strikes to trigger a shout that will draw attention to the foes to your location for 1 minute or 24 charges. Now, I thought this was kind of neat because every time I get hit, I'm going to be taunting things around me. I thought this would be neat. I have not gotten to try it yet. Now, it's just something I found while gearing him up for this video and the next video. So this one seems like it's pretty good theoretically, but I don't know if it takes up the it says a 0 second duration, so I don't think it's going to take up the combat ability slot. So we'll see. Well, let's just click it. Yeah, it doesn't. So it just gives us should give us a buff, right? See here, wade into battle. Don't see it. I don't see it at all, in all honesty. I guess it's got like phantom buffs in here too. It's kind of annoying. Oh, there it is. Fade into battle, 24 charges. All right, so 2 minute duration, 24 charges. So I guess with all my effects, I get an extra minute duration. So definitely something I'm going to be using more of. It's the same timer as strike through, but I don't really use strike through. So that's kind of nice. Now, another one here. Warrior's Bastion. This is the timer 16. There's not a whole lot of other timer 16s. They're all on the same line. So this is the current level version of this, which generates 6,822 hatred on your target and grants a rune that protects against incoming melee hits that inflict at least 20,000 damage, absorbing 80% of the damage that exceeds 20,000 damage for 4 minutes. This rune can absorb a total of 430,000 before fading. Now, the way this works is, if I get hit for 20,000, it does nothing. If I get hit for 22,000, it absorbs 2,000 of that extra damage. Now, this is a really good ability for normalizing damage, right? Especially on named mobs. I think this is where I really save this, because the trash mobs aren't really going to be hitting in that higher range like a named mob. Now, if I pull a named mob plus trash mobs, I'm still going to pop this. But this normalizes the damage coming out of the named mobs, making it much easier to survive. And it's definitely a spell that I try to pop whenever I need it, right? Like the first time I fight a new named, yeah, I'm going to pop it. The second time, I might not because I don't need to. So it really just depends on a lot of variables there, but it's definitely a good to take that edge off, right? And you also add that with that I'm using Worm Slayer plus Jan's Veil. That's a lot more damage reduction that we probably needed. So very nice there. Now, I do have some clickies here. I have Cobalt Grievers. Let's see if I can click these. I found these on one of my characters. It gives me invisibility, right? Sometimes I'm running without my box barred here, and I need invisibility to just avoid fighting trash. It's there. And then I have a Cobalt Bracer for Shrink. There was a reason why I wanted to be able to shrink something. I think it was I've added a Beast Lord to the group. She's the 125, but she's just the one that was in the rest of the Hobbs and Friends thing. So I can get her quests and stuff done at the same time, because we are going to start questing. So I think I wanted to shrink her pet or something like that because I was too lazy to click on her window. And then we have the Unified Phoenix Feather. I think we can actually click it now. Yeah, 110. So this is a nice little clicky. It's like a mini Paragon. Grants everybody in the group a 1,600 point damage shield and a 10,000 point spell damage shield, along with 1,000 health, mana, endurance regeneration per tick for, I believe, let's see here, 30 seconds. So this is definitely a nice ability. Click this, you get it there. It's from one of the anniversary events. that come out in April. So definitely something to. This is probably the most most important thing that I go for when if I don't have it, other than the Stein, right? Very nice item. Let's see here. So that's like the normal everyday, the most important disciplines. Now I have a whole bunch of other disciplines here, and AA abilities. So Warlord's Tenacity heals me for 50,000 and increases my health. Warlord's Fury increases my hatred, and using Warlord's Fury along with our ability Rampage, which does AoE attack, and our other ability AoE Taunt, we get a lot more AoE stuff going, along with Dragon Strike Blades, which I use in my multi-bind. It's a 30 target AoE. With Warlord's Fury, that becomes an AoE Taunt, if you think about it like that. And I find it's really helpful for, keeping aggro on everything. Along with some other disciplines we have going on for the class, right? Like, I don't have the Anger Mask on anymore because I don't have one for 110. But if I had the Anger Mask, I would be able to get 22% extra anger from those AoEs, but I don't have it at the moment. I will get one at 115. And there's another one in here that makes my taunts taunt every time I get hit. I can't remember. I think it's this one right here. Phalanx of Fury. Attackers when struck increases their hatred by 7,500. Right. So every time I get hit, I'm generating 7,500 points of aggro on the target. So it all kind of plays in there, but Fury increases that hatred significantly. So it's very nice. Bravery increases melee damage by 15 to 60 or 15% for 60 hits. This one, I pretty much is like, I should make a button called oh shit, because that's pretty much what it would be. It'd be Tenacity, Fury, Bravery, Resurgence, just all of them at once. But it is pretty much the everything else is not working, so we need more damage reduction, right? Then we have Resurgence, which heals me for 20,000 and increases my health regen by 450 points and my endurance regen by 12 points, right? Endurance is pretty important to the warrior, so if you don't have any endurance regen, you're gonna be hurting because you're gonna go down, right? Now that's why I added the Beast Lord to the group for endurance regeneration, and I got sick of the Merc. So let's see here. Weapon Covenant. This just increases our proc rate. I don't really ever use it. It's a timer 5, and it messes with so many of the other ones here. I think it's this one, Tenacious Runes, right? So Tenacious Runes is another defensive ability. I use it sometimes, not a whole lot, because usually the other ones are back up before I even need to use another one in most cases. So this one just gives us a rune that prevents 19,000 damage every time we get hit on a chance. Obviously it needs to tell me what the chance is, because just a chance it's useless, right? There's not enough data in this to make informed decisions on which to use. That's why I just pretty much use this. It has all the data that I need right there, except for the chance. Like, the chance should be there in some kind of form or fashion, but it is what it is. Now, let's see, Brutal Onslaught. I think this one has not been updated. Yeah, so Brutal Onslaught here. This one has not been updated since level 74, so it's still viable. I would say increases our melee attacks by the critical damage by 270 and a 140% chance to score a critical, right? So it's a nice extra bit of damage. It also makes our critical melees be crippling blows for 30 seconds. So it's a nice, I would say a burn ability, but I believe this is going to, take up our combat ability slot, so we can't use it along with other things. So it's purely a offensive kind of ability, right? So if we come over here to this guy, right, just like swacking him, everything we get a crit with is going to be a crippling blow, and a crippling blow is just extra damage. to the crippling to the critical strike. And we if we look at crippling fury here, this is a passive ability that increases, has a 25% to make our critical hits into that, right? And that's going to go up by, a lot as we level up. But you can see here, the sheer amount of damage that we're doing. Like almost every single one of these hits is 100k plus, right? It's insane. It's absolutely insane, the amount of damage that this character can do while tanking, right? I used to think Shadow Knight was the top tier, but right now I'm really inclined to Warrior for pretty much everything. But we'll see how that goes. We also have Mark of the Mage Hunter. This is a spell damage absorb, right? It's a rune for spell damage, right? Now that kind of plays into our charm that I'm using right now. I'm using the Skull of the Null, which is a Ring of Scale expansion item you get in Vishen's Peak. This gives me a 1750 spell damage rune at all times. So any spell that takes the 1750, I'm boom. I don't even take damage, right? Anything above that, I do take damage, right? And I believe it works on dot ticks too, so it seems to help a lot. I'm able to kill some things that I struggled with my Shadow Knight because of the damage. And I actually have a second one ready to turn in right here for my other character, for the Bard probably. But I just haven't. It's a lot of work to go turn this thing in, I'll tell you that. You got to fight all the way through VP to get to the final mob. But definitely it's a nice, a nice item to have for, damage reduction there and stuff like that. So it's also right click dispel, so get that. But it kind of plays into this rune here, more damage reduction. See, we got Fortitude. So Fortitude is our timer 3 defensive ability here. It has not been updated since level 59, right? Like this hasn't been changed, but if I'm not mistaken, if we look at the breastplate, so this is a snowbound breastplate, level 110. It still increases the duration of Fortitude by 1 tick. So it's 18 seconds instead of 12 seconds. And yeah, so for some reason they haven't updated it. Now, that's not to say that they don't update it in the future, but as of right now, I don't see it updated in my current set here. And then there's an AA for it right here that reduces the reuse time by 20 minutes. So definitely, it's more usable, but it's still. I think, what was that timer on that? Fortitude, it's default 40 minutes. Let me click it and see what we get here. Let's click off Brutal Onslaught. Yeah, it's a 20-minute reuse now, so it's 20 minutes lower than this number right here. With I don't even know if it did give us a buff over here. Oh, right here, it's gonna show it. Is it gonna tell me the timer? No, it's not gonna tell me the timer. Of course. Lack of information is the biggest issue I've had with some of these disciplines that I'm trying to figure out what they do without having to look up a third-party website, right? See, Storm Strike Defense. This is another one of our defensive. This one's a level 110 one, so it just got updated at this level. So incoming melee attacks against you have a chance to stun your opponent for 2.5 seconds. This will affect creatures up to level 113 and incite 2400 hatred in addition to its normal effect. So this is a pretty interesting line. This gives us the ability to stun creatures not on demand but on a quasi demand, right? Like, it's not guaranteed that it'll do anything because it does not even tell us the chance that it is to go off. But fighting some mobs, I've noticed, when they stun them, they have a different look to them, where they're like lay on the ground. And using that every once in a while, it does seem to work. It just doesn't. It's just not as much as you would think. The chance needs to be displayed there, but here we are. And then we have a bunch of aggro things, right? So we have Blast of Anger, 40,000 aggro. Ageless, 15,000 aggro. Gut Punch, 6,500 aggro. Warlord's Grasp, 10,000 aggro, plus it makes the mob move towards me. I've only seen that actually happen once. I've not seen it move towards me more than once. Let's see here. Unyielding Attention. So this will make the mob focus on me for 18 seconds. So I'll gain 300 AC and I will generate 60% more hatred. And the enemies will, or my allies will generate 90% less hatred. And it'll only work on targets up to 115. So what this will do is it'll make, whatever I target to come at me and fight me and ignore anybody else, right? So it's a nice ability for kind of protecting somebody, or getting that initial aggro on something that you don't want to, you don't want other people to have to like wait on doing damage to, right? This is, it's an immediate, I'm on the mob, I hit that, engage. You don't have to think about it. Probably used more in like a raid situation where you just run up to it. You unyield the attention it, right? And the whole raid can then just go ham on the mob right away, and you're going to be generating hatred. They're going to be generating almost no hatred, right? So it's pretty interesting there. That's the way I see it being used, but who knows? Then we have Warcry, which is pretty interesting, right? This is a fear, a chance to resist fear for the group, right? And I guess now it also resists silence and amnesia spells, but that's only 8% chance. So that is kind of a nice little thing, right? There's some named mobs that do some terrible AoEs, like silence. I don't know about amnesia, but I'm guessing that's like an AoE Mimbler. But being able to resist silence would be kind of nice. So that's there. Now, Strike Through, it it goes against Wade into Battle, but it's still on the bar. I think it's actually done, right? I don't think there's a new one. Yeah, I don't see a new one at 106 plus. So Strike Through just goes through their defense. Not a big deal there. I mean, it's more offensive than defensive. And we have, Vehement Rage, which is offensive, increases our melee damage by 15%, but our heals go down by 10%. Offensive Discipline, now this is on the same timer as defensive, so it's effectively useless, but there's cases where you might want to use this and do 35% more damage, right? Just depends on your situation, but it's on the same timer as your bread and butter defensive. And to me, that's a little too much, there to give up, right? And then aggressive, yeah. So that's offensive, and then aggressive is on timer 4, which kind of corresponds to all the other ones we have at timer 4, defensive-wise. Now, they did add this biting tongue discipline on timing 4 at 107, which gives us another taunt. So you gotta kind of pick what you want right there, right? So I would say probably biting tongue is better than using aggressive or offensive, whatever. So let's see here. That is all those. Now I have a multi-bind, so I can play pretty much with one button, right? So there's a lot of stuff in here. So buckle up. We have attack on, pet attack, pet swarm, merc assist, right? Now, I use a healer merc, and auto assist doesn't do anything with the healer merc. It's totally broken. She will heal me no matter what. Even if assist is off, I have to put her on passive mode for her to not do anything. So I don't know if that's a bug in the game or what, but it's terribly annoying that the healer merc does not listen to assist, because that's how she dies like 99% of the time. Like, I'll be run off pulling, and she will heal me while I'm pulling, and then she will be clobbered by the mobs because I'm trying to get them into camp, and so it's rather annoying. I'm probably going to switch her to a DPS mercenary at some point. I just haven't I haven't invested the time into making sure that I'm good to go, right? Like with just my cleric healing me, but that's, you know, I like having the backup because I don't heal anybody but the tank. So, but that's my assist button, and then so I do taunt, which is the standard, you know, taunt ability. You get it like level 1. Now, why do I spam taunt? I guess is probably a good thing to say here. Now, there is a few AA that benefit taunt, if you can say that. Let me see here. Sneering Grin. So Sneering Grin gives us a, you know, extra 9,000 hatred, and then Hasten Taunt speeds it up by I guess 3 seconds. And I think there's another one, but it's probably not that important. And it just makes taunt as in, you know, kind of a better ability there. So it's pretty nice. Then we have Dragon Strike Blades, which is an AoE. Let's see, 1700 hatred, and it's blade attack that hits everybody around me, right? So it's like an AoE. So if I go over here to this giant pile of mobs and I just target one of them and I hit it, I hit every single one of those mobs, right? With you can see here anywhere from 10 to 40,000 damage. So definitely a nice there. Next up, we have Knee Strike, which strikes your target with a kick skill attack with a base damage of 400, reduces their avoidance, so it's a debuff, and triggers the snare, which reduces their movement speed. So it's kind of nice that like we get a snare like built into it, right? Like hit that, boom, we kicked him for 8,500, and then we knee striked him, which lowers his thing, and snared him. So pretty nice. Next up, we have Slander. This incites 14,000 hatred and puts Slander recourse on myself, which reduces damage in the next few strikes. Now, if I'm not mistaken, no, that's not it. So the next one is the shield break right here, which I don't think that's right. Let me see here. Timer 22. Okay, so we don't have the next one yet. Shield break it's like one of those other every other expansion ones, I guess. So we should get this at TOV. So this is our synergy ability right here. This when I first got this shield topple, I thought it was like a shield bash, but in fact it is a shield break ability, right? Like it hits them to kind of break their defensive stance, right? So you can see here, that was the one we got at 83, and this is the one we get at 104. So there's a long period of time where we didn't get an upgrade to this, and it was kind of like, why didn't we? And it turns out it's the synergy ability. So every time we shield break, we're going to inflict damage and knock them off balance. I don't know what that actually means, but we're also protected, but from the next two incoming melee attacks, right? So we get a buff. And then over here, 100% chance to trigger synergy, which absorbs 6,000 damage from 6 direct damage or melee hits on all group members for 6 seconds. So it's pretty nice. Every time I hit that, everybody gets a buff. All right. I skipped over Battle Leap. Now, you used to have to like click this all the time, right? Like to get this passive 45% extra damage. You don't have to anymore. I like it because of this, right? Like I'm just gonna click it, right? Like I could fly across the screen and I'm right there. It's beautiful. I do it all the time just because like I'm fighting, and you know, here I'm just gonna spam my button right now. Like if I'm over here, see, Battle Leap is about to come up. So I'm like, you know, fighting that mob. I got summoned by another mob over here. I can just jump right back, right? It's beautiful, and it puts me right in the perfect melee position to fight the mob. So definitely interesting there. Let's see here, Emperor's Command. Now this is ability I didn't even know Warriors got. All group members in a 600-foot radius, all right, fight harder. Reduces the cast time on spells with mana the cost mana by 40%. It does not exceed this 50% spell haste cap, right? It also has a chance to trigger magical effects such as buffs. You know, any of these charged items you got, they're gonna give a 5% extra chance to crit those, right? Or to proc them. It's gonna increase maximum health by 15,000. It's gonna increase attack speed by 40%, armor class by 37, mana regeneration by 500, and endurance regeneration by 300. Holy shit, we're a support bard now. I mean, come on now. I'm at 312 hit points with that on. If we go to shield, I'm at 319. I'm almost at 320,000 hit points. I have a -1, whatever the hell that is, evasion chance. So I don't know, whatever I got going on. Let me click that off. Yeah, fortitude. I guess fortitude does that, right? Yeah, it gives me a 100% chance to dodge, so I'm not gonna get hit. Definitely definitely crazy, right? Like, definitely crazy the amount of stats that thing gives. So we become like a support class, help people out there. Next up we have War Shale's Heroic Blade. Now this is an interesting attack. It's an AA two-handed slash attack that does 2,700 to 3,400 damage on those 3 slashes. It also gives me Heroic Rage, which increases my melee speed by 68% and my chance to deal critical damage by 35% and the damage my critical melee attacks by 150%. So I get a 35% chance to crit, plus I get 150% chance, 150% extra crit damage. Insane. Insane. I do it on cooldown, 50-minute reuse. I just didn't feel like putting it into any kind of button that I would never probably push. So then we have Roar of Challenge. It's supposed to incite like lower accuracy of the 3 mobs near me and increase their hatred, but I have honestly never seen any kind of debuff or any kind of indication that it does anything. So I don't know if it works or not, so I just put it there. And then we have Biting Tongue, which is the timer 4, which I use on cooldown. It's just another taunt, and I just truly didn't have any more buttons, places to put any buttons, right? I have my multi-bind down here because of this character is a persona of my Shadow Knight who fills up like all these buttons down here, and so I can't change his UI without putting him in a separate client folder, and kind of hampers some of the stuff, but I'm probably going to put him in his own folder when I move all this over to Linux. But definitely a lot of abilities. So you can see it's a lot of click. Right now you could probably set all these on hot buttons. Like, I have a lot of buttons. My mouse has 12 buttons, keyboard has like 102. You know, there's a lot of buttons to push, but I try to like keep it so I can keep it in my mind, right? We also have Field Champion, which is kind of a buff, increases our group's armor class. Kind of gotta click that a lot, right? It's a 10-minute buff, so you gotta click that on command, and then commanding voice here gives you a chance to dodge. You want to click that. It's a 10-minute reuse also, so I just click those when I can. Another clicky I have is the Violet Conch of the Tempest. This comes from the Tempest Island. This gives me Spine Coat, which increases my armor class for, I believe, 6 hours. Yeah, 6 hours. So it's a nice little clicky there. And then your current level familiar, whatever one you got. I think this group only has the familiars up to Empires of Kunark. We haven't done any of the progression in Torment of Elias and beyond. And you're going to want to do your champion's aura. It never gets updated again, right? Level 70 is the last update there, but it increases armor class and weapon crit or proc chance. So you want to have that on at all times for everybody in the group. And let's see here. Hiatus, Seventh Wind. These are endurance regeneration things that I never click for some reason. Shield. Now this is an ability that warriors get a /shield, and it allows you to take the damage of your party members, right? So I have one for Nomagard and one for 20. I've yet to actually ever use these. They're usually dead before I can even react. So it's just, there's no point even trying most of the time. Like if Tawani gets hit, she's dead. Like there's nothing I can do. I can't heal her fast enough. I can't do anything. And no regard, he like, I don't know, clerics have an ability that they automatically become divine aura if they die sometimes. It's like random chance with no percent chance to you, so you have no idea what the percent chance is. So it's like you don't know what's gonna happen there, but he's usually gonna die if he gets hit too, because they're just gears, and whereas I'm not investing as much effort into their gear as I am into my gear. So let's see here, but that is everything. Oh, except the burns. We didn't talk about the burns. All right, so I do Spire of the Warlord, Warlord's Fury. Right now, Warlord's Fury, we have it here. We click that every once in a while, but I put it in the burn because, one, everything we do is going to generate more aggro when we click that. So I feel like it's natural. You know, we want more hatred. We're burning. Everybody else is going to be doing more damage, more healing, more everything. I need to be doing more hatred, and that's the way I look at it. I do Spire first, then I do Fury, and then I do Rage of Ralof Zek, which is our increases our proc. Now, if we look here at my weapons, right now I have one Spike of Anger weapon. If I had two, you can imagine how much damage that would be doing. Now, I have a different AUG. I don't know where it's at. I had a proc AUG on the for the Worm Slayer, but I don't know where it went. But more procs, more hatred really is what that goes for there. And then we got Projection of Fury, which will summon a level 110 doppelganger that generates 50,000 points of hatred, and then 16,000 points of hatred every 5 seconds for 15 seconds. If your doppelganger survives 15 seconds, all hatred is transferred to me, right? Boom, boom, boom. It's extreme amounts of hatred. And then we have a burn 2, which uses our breastplate, right? So our breastplate currently absorbs 40% of incoming melee damage that exceeds 10,000 points of damage per hit for 750,000 damage. Now, 10,000. So any damage, 40% of the damage over 40,000. Almost every single hit I'm getting hit for at this point in the game is at least 10,000. If it's less than 10,000, like Jan's Veil and Worm Slayer reduced that 10,000 hit. So that is so 40% of that damage over 10,000 will be reduced into that 750,000 rune. You combine that with Warrior's Bastion, along with the 45% reduction from Culminating Stand. I mean, we're looking at, like, you know, very little damage, right? So it's gonna be pretty nice. And then let's see here, we have let me switch this because I switched those out. I didn't update the icon down here. It's just for looks, so it doesn't really matter. Then we have Bloodworker's Coating, which is our Vampiric Aura clicky that we currently have. There's an upgrade to this in Night of Shadows that we'll try to pick up, just because getting this 2% of our damage back as health is kind of strong on a warrior. Like a little bit overpowered, I would say, because I mean, look at these hits. That would all be health. 2% of that would come back as health. So it might be pretty nice. Then we have the Signet of Gnar, which I use it as more of a burn ability, or, you know, no shit button. Now, if I click it, right, it's going to give us a second aura, Circle of Life, which will increase our companions' healing effects as long as they stay in the aura, right? It does not last very long. It does not last very long at all. It's more or less, you know, during that burn situation, right? And when, you know, if it helps the cleric heal me more, like it doesn't obviously say how much for whatever, but if it's 5%, it's worth it, right? I mean, it's definitely going to do something, and it's just a clicky I can click, so it's pretty nice. And then we have Blade Guardian. So Blade Guardian triggers Blade Whirl if your health drops below 40% and your ability to parry incoming attacks by 90% for 36 seconds. Now, this is if I die. Like, pretty much if I go below 40%, I'm gonna almost die, right? Like, there's a very low chance that I'm gonna not die. Like, it's once I get down to, like, you know, that, because you got to think of it like this, right? These mobs are going to quad me for, 20,000 each hit. So that's what, 80,000 damage. And that is less than 40% of my health, right? So there's a high chance I could die in certain situations. So being able to proc that, especially on what I would burn on. I only burn on named. I don't burn on trash unless there's more than 7 in the group, the mix. And then I burn. And I pretty much go into oh shit mode. I click everything that I can. If there's more than 7, I can usually handle up to 5 or 6 without having to like do any extra effort, as long as the mercenaries were playing well with what I'm doing. But if they were like, if the healer mercenary like went off and died in the pole, then obviously I'm gonna have to probably burn to stay alive in that situation, just because it's a lot of extra healing, especially on non-tank healing, because I only heal Thomagard, and you can see in my cleric video how I have him set up to only heal him. Now, the cleric does have 1 AoE heal in his arsenal, but it's not that big. All right, so that is pretty much everything. We're eventually going to put a glyph in this last button, but right now it's just intensity and resolute, which increases our damage a little bit. But for the most part, that is everything. Now, gear-wise, let's talk about gear. The best gear you can get at 110, outside of raid gear, is Snowbound Legionnaire or Snow Squall. Now, I do have a piece of Snow Squall here. Now, look at this. This is 7,600 HP. 7,300. I mean, they're kind of close. Now, I think the Warrior Snow Squall is gonna have more hit points. I think it's got to be like 600 to 1,000 difference at the end of the day there. But Snow Squall is a little bit more harder to get because it comes from the Claws of Vishan tier 1 stuff, and there's no missions for tier 1 stuff, right? Gricklore in Torment of Velius is the only tier 1 mission, so you can get armor from there without having to go kill names all throughout the expansion. But for the most, let's just say Snowbound is the best. There's a lot of other like 110 usable gear that you can pick up throughout the different, COV and TOV expansions. For the most part, it's all pretty good. Definitely, it's let me see if I still have some conflagrant on me. It's like a 2,000 point upgrade, right? Like it's insane. Here, let me go to my bard. She's still, yeah. So here, 5,300 HP on the bard breastplate versus 7,300 on the warrior breastplate. It's huge difference, right? Like a huge difference in gear. And you can use this stuff at 110, so definitely that's where we're at. That's where you're gonna want to go. Now I do have one piece of ice encrusted, which I got on Holdridge years ago, and I just kind of pass it around to all my characters, which is equivalent to raid gear for, I believe, the Burning Lance. I think. Let me just look here. No, I guess not the Burning Lance. So this is the warrior weapon from Burning Lance raid, crafted. This is probably Ring of Scale, maybe. I'm gonna guess. Yeah, that's probably Ring of Scale. Ice Crust is equivalent to Ring of Scale, right? That's my guess. But I had an extra Mubis, and so I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and make it for the warrior here because I'm enjoying this class, and we're gonna be struggling, I think, in the next few videos. We're gonna do Torment of Velius at 110. And trying to edge as much as I can to take less damage. It's kind of where I've been going, trying to get him geared up here. We got like still some conflagrant and stuff like that, but most of it's Snowbound or the equivalent stuff. We do have a power source though, so that's something. But definitely it's going to be interesting. Now, I want to thank Rob Red and Mouthrex. I truly had no idea how to shoot a bow from a macro. I've never done it. I've always just pushed the little button you get from the thing here. I've always just, where is it right here? This range attack. I've always just done that. But they told me how auto fire. And so using their warrior macros here to build a bandolier swap for me. So I could kind of shoot my bow, right? Like here, I go like this. Shoot my bow and then immediately switches back to my real weapons. It's fantastic. I love it, and really improves my pulling. You can see here, activate bandolier bow. So if we look here, we got bandolier bow. It's just pretty much the arrow is the only difference between dual wield and that. Because you got to have an arrow in your range item for it to shoot. Otherwise, it'll shoot, but it won't shoot an arrow. It'll just shoot the proc of the bow, which is to me a bug. But you know what? I've encountered a lot of bugs, and they make it too hard to report bugs. So then we have Clizen's Roar, which is our current level roar. Wherever I put that, I think I put it on numpad 4 here. It's just a hatred generation dot, and then it switches back to my dual wield. I use dual wield like 99% of the time. I do have a shield now, and we might use it. We might need it. We might be shielding it up. We might be legionnaires it through this whole next expansion, but I don't think we're gonna need it, right? I think we're gonna be fine. Maybe in the missions we'll shield up, and we're gonna do the missions last. But we'll see. We're gonna do 100% Torment of Velius here in the next week. But yeah, that's all looking pretty good, I think. I don't think there's much else. AA wise, like everything's auto granted, so I would not try not to auto grant it, honestly. It's just not worth your time, in all honesty. But if you have to buy the AAs and you're on like a TLP, you're gonna get combat agility, stability, and natural durability. You're gonna get armor of wisdom. Those are your like number one. I gotta have those now, AAs, and then everything else is kind of where you want to go with how you play, right? This command thing's pretty nice. Weapon mastery, like the priority is pretty much what you use, right? And doing anything other than what you use probably is wasting your time. Like if I don't use stunning kick, I don't know, for some reason, say I'm auto skilling bash instead of kick, I wouldn't put my points in there. Now the focuses are very important. You're gonna want to make sure you max these out as soon as possible. Especially the synergy here, this one, every time you do the shield break line, this reduces your damage mostly, but it also puts a little rune on everybody else in your group, so if they get hit, they might not die. It's a thought. But everything else, you're going to want to max this stuff out, right? Like, it doesn't really, there's no real priority other than get what you use and then you max out AA, right? Like, at 125, getting AAs is so trivial. You can get like up to like 3 or 4 a kill sometimes. During events with experience, you can get 5 to 6 per kill, right? Like extra life's coming up here in what, a month, maybe a month and a half, and you're going to be getting so many AAs during extra life that like you can't even play the game because you're going to get like 25 to 30 AAs a kill on some things, and you're going to have to like just be spending AAs constantly to be able to do that. And especially if you're boxing, like, you know, I'm going to be boxing 4 characters, and it's going to be a lot of work, and you'll see it in the videos, I'll tell you that. But definitely that's the warrior. That's what I do at 110, and I don't think I'm going to make another warrior video unless something changes until 125. I don't feel like anything's going to really change like wise, right? All I'm going to do at 110 to 115 is I'm going to upgrade my abilities to the next tier. I don't think there's anything new. If there is, we'll make a video on it, and I'll make sure to cover it. But for the most part, I don't see anything new that I'm gonna really need to talk about until 125. And then at 125, we'll make a video, probably a, depending on what time it is, time like if it's November and it's already extra life, well, we're gonna make it, and at the end of 125 when we're maxed out versus before, just because it's gonna go so fast. There's just no point in stopping to do that. So we'll see where we're at. I'm trying to get 125 before November. That's kind of my goal right now, so that we can do a fresh 125 video, and then we'll do a maxed out 125 video, and then we'll do the 130 video when the new expansion comes out, and we max out AA there. I'm kind of 100% in on the Warrior right now. I'm really enjoying it. It's extremely fun. Definitely eye-opening compared to where I was. But there you go. Thank you very much for watching, and please have a fantastic day. If you have any questions, let me know.